75% people around us have got at least one book in them.
Oh wow.
Right. So you can also write a book.
Yeah, I think I can.
Right. So this is my 26 years in the industry after reading a lot of books, and I stumbled on the opportunity. I call it a 30-second window for success.
Hello, welcome to the Akademos Podcast, where we engage with seasoned business professionals to gain valuable insights into the decisions that drive success. I'm Saad Akbar, the host for the Akademos Podcast, and joining me today is Mr. Umer Ghumman, who's the country director of Samsung, Pakistan and Afghanistan. With a wealth of experience managing a $500 million mobile business and leading a team of 150, Umer is widely recognized for his expertise, having earned him multiple prestigious awards for high achievement. So let's get started. Thank you so much, Mr. Umer, for joining us today. I could have gone deeper into your introduction, but I thought it would be better if we could have a conversation direct with you and we could understand it from you as to what your career and what your journey has been so far. And also, I'd like you to touch upon certain significant milestones that stand out to you, and how have these experiences shaped your professional growth, especially as you transitioned into leadership roles?
Right. Thank you so much, Saad and Akademos, for inviting me over. I'm thrilled to talk to you people, especially when I talk to young people. I learn a lot. So here I am working in the industry for the last 26 years. I worked in Pakistan, outside Pakistan. Surprisingly, I worked in India for 2 months, and which the project got extended for 3 to 4 months. But I stayed in India, in Gurgaon, when I used to work for Tetra Pak. And interestingly, this was about the research as well. So I worked in Egypt. So overall, I started off from the advertising industry after doing my first MBA. In 1997 Jan, I got into the advertising, stayed in the advertising, changing to advertising industries, two companies, Owen McCann and Linters, 3.5 years. Then I got a job in Tetra Pak in marketing department, and I eventually, in a couple of years, became the marketing head over there in 6 years' time.
Right.
And a lot of interesting things started happening. I faltered, I failed. So I took an international assignment. I went there. And interestingly, I was responsible for the coordination for an international project for Pakistan, Egypt, and Turkey. And that project was also about the research. And I conducted researches in 3 countries, collected a report, and then we actually came up with some insights about 3 countries. And we ran a project in Pakistan, ran successfully. We won Asian CSR award for that, and I continued to work on that. So when I came back, my life changed in many ways. I handed over a department to a person, and I was since stripped off from my role because I was very young. I was only 31 years old, heading marketing. So made some mistakes. I was arrogant. I thought I was great. So. And then eventually, when I came back, I had to work under the same guy, and we became friends. But eventually, we hated each other. But we found a way out. So we worked together. We still are friends. And but I would say there were 10 very tough years in my career where I was rising, and then I went down, and I had to rebuild my career. So I went to LUMS for 2 years, executive MBA program. Discovered myself, discovered what mistakes I made, again researched about myself.
Right.
And then moving forward, there was a prophecy at LUM's executive MBA program that they said, look, if you finish your MBA over here with the wealth of experience you people have, we had averaged 14, 15 years of experience. So I was like 13 years in the corporate world by then. So you would end up becoming promoted. Right. Or you will end up getting a great job. So it's like, okay, the prophecy did not hold true for one reason, that I moved, actually I moved up the ladder, but not exactly the promotion. But then I got 5-6 companies chasing me, and I actually ended up choosing to work for Samsung as a country head. this is my 7th year in the company, and 4 or 5 years I was getting the highest rating in the whole Middle East, in MENA region. My HR came, tossed the report in front of me and said, what is going on? You guys, you are getting the highest rating ever. What is wrong with you? And then eventually I got picked up by the headquarters. They said, okay, write us your story. So I wrote the whole story about journey, failures, coming out and becoming more humble person, working for others. And they said, stop it over here. We want to actually record it down. So actually I got shortlisted among the Self 100 program. That year they actually selected 60 people from all over the world.
Right.
And out of those 60 people, I was selected as an example of conflict management, and my 5-7 minutes video is run in Samsung Leadership Center as a part of the training program, the conflict management category. So, and the only thing, the most important thing which I would like to tell everyone, the young people who are listening to me, that you need to be humble, you need to be gritty, and you need to work for others. And eventually the sun would shine on you one day, even if the failures do happen. These failures happen for the good things. And in the whole scheme of things, since you're a research company, and I just like to tell you one thing, my research journey is very interesting. So I'll talk about that as we go along, but I started off from the donkey years of research, when we are doing the research yourself with your own hands. Then you're waiting for the research results in 4 or 5 months' time. The things have changed. Maybe the world wasn't that fast. Right now, we need to take decisions in hours. And in the crazy industry which I am in, selling mobile phones, in FMCG sector, in my previous life, a lot of people would say a salesman is as good as 1 month. We are as good as 12 hours. Because we need to see what is happening. So you become short-sighted in many ways, but you become very tactical. And you need to take very quick decisions, and research matters, and digital research matters the most, because it gives you very quick insights as to what to do.
Right. I'll drive the conversation towards exactly that. I think, so my question to you would be that you talked about how it is not essentially conventional anymore, it is digital. So how does a consumer-centric mindset, especially in the digital era, influence decision-making for you? And what role does it play in addressing challenges and solving everyday problems that you have in your role?
Now, as the technology evolved, the consumers have also evolved. They're the user of that technology. Now, back in the days, if you guys weren't even born, I believe.
I don't think we were.
Yeah. So I'm 50 years old, so I can take you back before your parents' wedding even. So in my time, or the time before that, what used to happen was we would wait for our favorite drama once in a week, right? We would wait for it between 8 and 9 o'clock. The news would only come at 7 o'clock and at 9 o'clock. You would not know what is happening. And then you would have a summary of all newspapers on Sundays. Somebody reads the newspapers for you. So which means that the flow of information was pretty slow. The thing which has happened in US would come to us maybe next week or 3-4 days time later. It could not be few hours in the newspapers. So which means that now the next second the whole world knows what's going on. So which means the pace has changed, the consumers have changed, and so are the tools. Now with this digital savviness, if we don't adapt to these things, we're gone. So I used to conduct one research in 3 years' time or 2 years' time, the UNA study. Then we would have this brand health tracker. Then we would have these focus groups. Then we would have these dipstick studies. All of these can be done in hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So probably, I came to Samsung and I conducted UNA study, and And we hardly used it because that was obsolete for us.
Absolutely.
Things were changing. People were asking for something else.
I think the data points are so extensive now that
Yeah.
you potentially can't do with a small sample, and that's where something that we've been doing as well, whereby we are sort of like looking at the sort of like social media sentiment analysis is a better reflection than a brand health tracker, for example. But yes, please continue.
Yeah, look, in this uh, unfolding digital world, there's so many data points. So big data is there. Now, what is the real challenge? The real challenge is to convert this data into information into knowledge, and knowledge into wisdom. That eventually becomes the insights, the actionable information or wisdom that you collect, and then you use it in your own benefit.
Yeah.
And so, which means that you need to look at, if you're looking at the consumers, they're hardly watching TV. They're also looking at their social media, the Gen Zers. But it's not the Gen Zers things. The things have changed. If you just think about 30 years back or 3 decades back, the grandparents and the parents and the all the elderly people, they used to wait for the kids to come and talk to them. Now they just have a couple of video calls. They're good. I call my mom, how are you doing? Okay, I'll talk to you later. My YouTube drama is going on. So she can rewind it, but she has so much material to consume, and same goes for my dad. So one is turning 90 and one is mashallah turning 80, and both are so much digital savvy.
Yeah.
And this holds true for everyone.
Absolutely.
So now reaching them, looking at their passion points.
Yeah.
I was just talking to my dad. I said, what is this new clothes? So he said, मैं Facebook पे देख रहा था, and I just clicked on it. I bought this खद्दर की चादर, and that came, and I said, how much did you spend? He said 7,500 रुपए की थी. तो मैंने कहा क्या ड्राइवर को भेजूं, 1,000 रुपए का पेट्रोल लग जाएगा. And this is the awareness that is coming. So which means hats off to those guys who actually tracked him on Facebook, showed the ad to him, and which triggered a response, and he actually bought it. I was thoroughly impressed. But this is what we are supposed, the research agencies, I know you people are already doing it, and this is what the companies are looking forward, using the data points, using the information, using social media trends, passion points. And people say that CRM is something, but I tell you what, people do not open a lot of emails. We do have a lot of CRM data. A lot of companies have it. The information goes out, but looking for someone who's looking for something which is with you, and you are able to hit them at the right point, and you hit them multiple times. In our times, we used to say 3 plus frequency, 70% reach, and 2000 ki GRP. ये एक formula होता था.
I think I want to talk a bit about the AI revolution as well, and how sort of Samsung is launching into it as well. There is obviously a new product, which is the S24 lineup as well, with the Samsung's latest release. So what distinctive AI features does it incorporate, and how do these features compete against those of other competitors in the market for it?
This is the first ever AI phone, because nobody has claimed it yet, and we have launched it, and the competition would follow. But we have taken a lead in this by launching a Galaxy AI. So this is a big edge for Samsung, and this is beautiful, absolutely beautiful phone from the functions perspective. So I have one. I have it over here. It looks like a phone.
Right.
It's a nice looking phone, but at the same time, what it does is unbelievable. So you take a photograph. You don't even have to take a photograph. You're scanning something. You just make a circle while on the screen. It is going to take you to a web page or a site or a picture which is related to it. So if these shoes, you just do that, the Baroque design, this is going to open up the designs. Jacket, monuments, places, name a thing that you just want to circle and it will take you to the website. Then you have like long notes. You just put those notes and just put a button which says summary. It will summarize the whole 20-page thing in few seconds. This doesn't happen. Then you're talking to someone. Suppose you speak French, and I'm speaking English, and we both are talking. So I speak, my speech gets live in English, and you see the English is right, and the French translation is there, but at the same time you're listening to me in French,
French.
and you're speaking French. You don't have to have this phone. You don't have to have this phone. Only one person has to have this phone. So if you're speaking in French, again, I'm just looking at the French text on my screen, and then French text gets translated into English, and this is audible in English at the same time, and this is in multiple languages. This is absolutely amazing, mind-blowing. I would never imagined it would be that convenient. The best part about this phone is this is convenient to use. It was generally in the previous features, you need to know technology to be able to use it.
Right.
Here, you do not need to know it at all. It is like circle. You just put your finger on the screen in circle and you get there. You just put a button, and while you're writing a message to someone, you write and you say friendly tone, professional tone, and it will help you write a message.
So kind of has some element of generative AI as well.
Complete assistance, and a very smart one. And we have actually globally partnered with Google to come up with this super amazing AI software. And this is not going to stop over here. No, the picture gets regenerated. And then the ethical use of AI at the same time. This is a company. This is not an open source website, and you don't have to worry about it. So your phone has everything that it takes to be a great AI tool. Use it, why not? And for research at the same time.
Yeah.
And like I said, Circle is a research. You can do the research on where to shop, what to shop. Unbelievable stuff.
Right. But what sort of like data privacy elements does it have as well? Because it does raise the concern in terms of how deep can you go into the research as well, not at a company level, but also in terms of the data that is shared as well.
It's the public data. So the public information is public information. So it is gathering that information from the social site,
right,
and collecting it and putting it in front of you in the summarized form.
Right.
So I don't see any issues in that.
Right. Okay. So I think we've talked about analytics. We've talked about the AI revolution as well, and how Samsung is sort of like contributing to it, and what you've talked about the phone being the first AI phone that we're going to have. I also want to talk about decision making in terms of the strategic decision making that you have to do in your role, and that does require a lot of data backed decision making as well. But there is always that element of human intuition involved. I mean, you talked about your career and your experience, and how there have been ups and downs within that. How do you sort of balance those two? Is it a lot to do? Is it more inclined towards the data centricity of it, or is it also to do with some human element? I mean, how do you weigh that up?
Very interesting and very intelligent question. Look, when I started at a very elementary stage during my first MBA back in late 90s, mid 90s, and we were conducting some researches, and we found out we were learning something. We were talking, even if it was a quantitative research, we would go and do the interviews and try. And what I learned the most was through the human interaction.
Yeah.
So, and you look at the facial expressions, you say how they say it. Somebody say, nahi, nahi, nahi. And if the data is recorded, no.
Yeah.
It does not tell you the tone and the manner.
Yeah.
So, which means that the human interaction is very important. I am a big fan of human interactions. the digital world has actually squeezed. The world is becoming ever more complex yet approachable at the same time. But when fast forward, I'm again learning this. So the most interesting thing about my career is I've seen the very basic stuff made, and now I'm looking at to learn some new things. So it looks like as if I'm just sitting at the last semester at the MBA program and looking at how do I capitalize on that knowledge, and I'm learning every day. So um, I would say this is this has to be a mix. It just cannot be I know these things and I would like to go for it. Sometimes things are not what they generally look like.
Yeah.
It turns out to be totally different. So gut feel is very important. So that's why I highly encourage the people to go out in the market and check. Reports would not tell you anything. Human interaction is very important to be able to capitalize on the digital and non-human information available, which you can merge and then you can do. So decision making requires the emotional element of it. We're looking at passion points.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
look at music. We're looking at cricket. We're looking at gaming. What are those? These are passion points. These are emotion centric data points. They tell us, but I play game, I am passionate about game. Which age am I passionate about these games? So then information needs to be provided to that person that okay, buy this gaming app, buy this gaming product. So human interaction is important.
Right. And is that a lot of practice within Samsung, for example, is still currently to have that element of human interaction with your customer right now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. My teams are going out in the market. No matter the reports are good. The best thing about working for this organization is we question everything. We question the moments when we fail, but at the same time we question the success at the same time. Sometimes I realize that we don't get complacent. When there's a success, we say the next challenge is coming. Why we became successful? If we are successful in the right way, let's work on it.
Right.
Or maybe we're just depending on few elements which are making us successful. Why not we make the other elements as successful as those few elements
Yeah.
were, so that we are successful in a comprehensive manner.
Right.
So yeah.
Absolutely. I also want to talk about decision making in terms of the strategic decision making that you have to do in your role. And that does require a lot of data backed decision making as well. But there is always that element of human intuition involved. I mean, you talked about your career and your experience and how there have been ups and downs within that. How do you sort of balance those two? Is it a lot to do? Is it more inclined towards the data centricity of it, or is it also to do with some human element? I mean, how do you weigh that up?
Very interesting and very intelligent question. Look, when I started at a very elementary stage during my first MBA back in late 90s, mid 90s, and we were conducting some researches and we found out we were learning something. We were talking, even it was a quantitative research, we would go and do the interviews and try. And what I learned the most was through the human interaction.
Yeah.
So, and you look at the facial expressions, you say how they say it. Somebody say, nahi, nahi, nahi. And if the data is recorded, no,
Yeah.
it does not tell you the tone and the manner.
Yeah.
So, which means that the human interaction is very important. I am a big fan of human interactions. Uh, the, the digital world has actually squeezed. The world is becoming ever more complex yet approachable at the same time. But when fast forward, I'm again learning this. So the most interesting thing about my career is I've seen the very basic stuff made, and now I'm looking at to learn some new things. So it looks like as if I'm just sitting at the last semester at the MBA program and looking at how do I capitalize on that knowledge, and I'm learning every day. So I would say this is this has to be a mix. It just cannot be I know these things and I would like to go for it. Sometimes things are not what they generally look like.
Yeah.
It turns out to be totally different. So gut feel is very important. So that's why I highly encourage the people to go out in the market and check. Reports would not tell you anything. Human interaction is very important to be able to capitalize on the digital and non-human information available, which you can merge and then you can do. So decision making requires the emotional element of it. We're looking at passion points.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
look at music. We're looking at cricket. We're looking at gaming. What are those? These are passion points. These are emotion centric data points. They tell us, but I play game, I am passionate about game. Which age am I passionate about these games? So then information needs to be provided to that person that okay, buy this gaming app, buy this gaming product. So human interaction is important.
Right. And is that a lot of practice within Samsung, for example, is still currently to have that element of human interaction with your customer right now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. My teams are going out in the market. No matter the reports are good. The best thing about working for this organization is we question everything. We question the moments when we fail, but at the same time we question the success at the same time. Sometimes I realize that we don't get complacent. When there's a success, we say the next challenge is coming. Why we became successful? If we are successful in the right way, let's work on it.
Right.
Or maybe we're just depending on few elements which are making us successful. Why not we make the other elements as successful as those few elements were, so that we are successful in a comprehensive manner.
Right. Let's talk about the trends as well, the changing sort of working trends too. And there has been a lot of economic crisis going on within not just Pakistan and Afghanistan, the countries that you're responsible for, but generally throughout the world as well. So, what strategies can companies, tech companies, and mobile companies, what strategies can they use to navigate the challenges in the mobile and tech industries generally?
Look,
And what are, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off.
Sure, please.
What are the biggest sort of like challenges that you have come across within these past 4 years?
Look, we have been sustaining nicely, to be honest. We have had a bit of a blip in the last, say, about 18, 19 months, because not only Pakistan, the global economies were melting away with all sorts of wars going on around the world. Supply demand pandemic, then wars and all those things. So it's a very broad question. So let's break it down into what should people do in Pakistan. So we are concerned about this because we can't change, and we can't give consultancy to international companies. So let's talk about what should be done. First, by this advice is for the people. First, they need to never give up on themselves and the country. That's very clear. Ever since I've started listening, I've been hearing beda gark ho gaya, things are not good as they used to be, and things I've never seen. I never heard people saying the things are better than before. But if you generally take a look at the lifestyle of people, it has evolved. Right from the very basic to a very advanced level. Now everyone has got the phone. 20, 25 years back, nobody had the phone. Everybody, their data is accessible. So the world is at the palm of your hand. All you have to do is find resources for yourself. Give your services not only in the physical job but also at the remote level as well. So I think there's a humongous opportunity available. You don't have to have a visa to work in US. We're sitting, the place we're sitting, there are
Yeah.
people making loads of money
Yeah,
while working in this office.
absolutely.
And they're not working for this country, they're working for others.
Okay.
And why those people are talking to us? Because we are cost effective.
Yeah.
So call centers, the BPOs, the creative services, the research services, and use this AI and technology not to be only expert but also get closer to the experts so that you are able
Yeah.
to give the services which are required by those who are looking for cost effective services. And that's where your biggest edge is as Pakistanis, and sitting anywhere in the world.
Yeah. I think we were talking earlier about the sort of arbitrage that there is because of, a data scientist, for example, might be earning in hundreds and thousands of dollars there. But here we can get sort of like data scientists who are earning quite good for an economy here because the economy is not as mature. So in the sense that they're still earning better here. So there's a lot of arbitrage. So I agree with you that there is a lot of opportunity to explore more areas in different sort of like avenues for not just research but also tech and generally the remote work that is going on too. Umar Saab, I've heard you've working on your own book as well. So I want you to talk a bit about that. What are the core themes within that book that you want to explore?
Right. Thank you for asking. This is my favorite topic, by the way. So this is like, our research says 75% people around us have got at least one book in them.
Oh wow!
Right. So you can also write a book.
Yeah, I think I can.
All right. So this is my 26 years in the industry after reading a lot of books, and I stumbled on the opportunity. I call it a 30-second window for success or to success. And I did a TED talk about that. So, which means that, when I was studying at LUMS, and you were studying over there as well once upon a time.
Yeah.
This is not a LUMS cartel, by the way.
It's not.
But,
It's not supposed to be.
So, in a class, what happens is you are prepared for the class, and you have to, when the teacher gives you the mic, you're supposed to speak about not the case, not the reading material. You need to give your own point of view in less than 30 seconds. And if you're able to explain or get the attention in 30 seconds, you get another 30 seconds. And then you get another 30 seconds.
Right.
So there are about over 3,500 30-second windows in a day. Which one you want to pick? But unlocking that is a different thing.
Yeah.
It could be atomic habits. It could be grit. It could be quick learning. I'm taking the names of the book. It could be the power of why. It could be anything. But it all has to converge into 30 seconds, and you need to find your 30 seconds. This is what I'm exploring. This happens in the animal kingdom. A cheetah is the fastest running animal, a beast, I would say, predator.
Yeah.
And if the chase gets prolonged beyond 30 seconds, gone.
He's gone. Yeah.
Cannot go after the prey. Now, sportsmen, you only get a very short window in tennis, in football, in cricket, in boxing. If you're unable to capitalize on it, you're gone. So, but you prepare for it for hours and years.
Yeah.
You just don't get 30-second window. So that's what I'm looking at, to unlock the 30-second window of opportunities for different fields, to inspire people to work towards it. There are no shortcut in life. There is only one path to success. That is hard work. And then you need to, so what we generally say, you need to analyze, identify the problem, which are the possible solutions, which one you prefer, why do you prefer it? You have to say it in 30 seconds. This is what I call 30-second window of success. At LUMS or any other great institution, that's how they teach the case study method.
Yeah.
And that's where I stumbled on the opportunity. And that's what I'm further exploring and researching. And I'm talking to CEOs, my class fellows at Harvard Business School, where I did some courses.
Right.
So I'm talking to them, and I'm putting that into a book form.
Right. And when is the book expected to release?
Yeah, it is getting delayed. So just because the more I get into it, more I started enjoying the research, and the more I the few people who are mentoring me, I'm reading. Now I have to study a lot more. So if I try to finish it early, it would not be fun. I just want to enjoy the journey.
Yeah, I think that makes sense as well. So, thank you, Umar, for that. I think for individuals contemplating a career into MNCs, for example, or even starting their own business, or just like you said, that they can work remotely too. So, what tailored advice would you generally give? And how can these sort of professionals navigate the challenges that they have in this countries and sort of seize opportunities for their respective journeys, drawing from your own experiences?
Right. So my experience is very conventional, but at the same time, I am witnessing quite a lot of changes going on around us. So I would advise the young people and students first, and then we'll talk about professionals. The young people should look at to cultivate the opportunities for themselves, which means honing new skills. So it's not only about getting better at marketing or advertising or doing your own stuff, production, selling it later. There are so many other things which we can do. Uh, there are certain, for example, Daraz is running their own Daraz Academy for people to, and I was pleased to see people making their lives better. Housewives sitting at home making ₹1 million a month,
Right.
running their own shops. Dukan gives a end-to-end facility for the people. I was just talking to a lady at a dinner, and she told me that how they are actually doing a great thing by giving end-to-end, competency development to be able to for them to stand on their own feet. So which means that I would suggest the students to start not only looking for a conventional job. Yes, it's good to have an MNC job, but believe me, those who are sitting in MNC, they would want to do something which is what we call side hustle.
Yeah.
Do it, learn it, fast pace it, uh, pace it at a higher scale. So what do we have to do is add more skill sets. But yes, emotional intelligence, grit, hard work, honesty, this goes without saying you have to do it. But when it comes to you per se, we need to look at how do we reinvent ourselves. Few people should learn coding, few people should learn how to do editing, podcast, how to sell a product, how to source a product, how to make your own shop, sell it over there, and the world is open for you. And rest for those who are working in the corporate world, carry on with the same momentum that you are doing. But at the same time, I generally feel that people get demoralized fairly quickly. So you need to be gritty. This is not a lot of people might say I've got a very glamorous job. Every time people see me giving interviews like these, going on the launches and this, but there are monthly targets. There is a profitability challenge. There's a factory back there. There are employees working over there. We need to make sure they are employed. We need to make sure the distributors are making money. We need to make sure the retailers are making money, and we need to make sure the consumer are happy and they're buying it.
Pressure, yeah.
That's a lot of pressure, and we are not successful all the time. So we need to juggle too many tasks. So it's not as green as you think it is, but it is fun. But I'm sure the job on the other side is also fun while sitting at your home, while working at CoLab, of all those co-working places, and you're learning from each other, and at the same time you're earning from each other and from the rest of the world. So people come and ask me कि मैं क्या करूं, and I tell them इस लिंक पे प्रेस करो, मुझे सीवी भेजने का खाली फायदा नहीं है. If there is an opening, standard answer, and if it is merit, why not? But this is the HR job. My job is not to give you a job. My job is to run the business, and my job is to guide you to find more revenue. So this is what I'm doing over here. All the young people, please make sure, learn something new, improve your communication skills, and improve your knowledge, and go out, explore the international market that's out there for you. वो एक अल्लाह वाला साहब हैं, वो बड़ी अच्छी अच्छी बातें करते हैं. There are few more other great people who only talk about how to make money online, remote jobs kaise karni hai. Please go out and try to learn those skills. Instagram पे पैसे बनाओ, Facebook पे पैसे बनाओ, YouTube पे पैसे बनाओ, Amazon वेब सर्विसेज यूज़
Yeah.
करें, दराज यूज़ करें, दुकान पे जाएं, कोलैब्स पे आएं, आपके पास आए.
बिल्कुल.
Learn and do it, and trust me, the world is too big to be conquered, and there are too many opportunities to be explored, and I'm very positive about it. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you so much. So I think you've summarized it brilliantly. So I'd just like to say that thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you, and I think we'll continue to keep in touch.